Hello everyone, welcome back to another NR format video. So today we're going to be looking at Materiactor Mill. And this deck is possible due to the release of this card right here, Dragon's Mind. So Dragon's Mind says that it's basically a generic counter trap. When a spell trap or monster card or effect is activated, you can negate it. And you just need to control a monster with 2500 original attack or defense. So we are basically pairing this with the Materiactor engine, which can easily get you to a rank 3, and that being the XYZ Armor Torpedo, which has 2500 attack. So you can easily get a 2500 body to then be able to use Dragon's Mind. We are also pairing it with the Tearlaments. The Tearlaments, when they are sent to the graveyard by a card effect, they can trigger to fusion summon, and if we have the Metal Foes Silvered in rotation, which we can get off of the Materiactor monsters, we can then fusion summon for a Metal Foes Adamante, which only requires a Metal Foes monster and a monster with 2500 or less attack. So the Tearlament monsters can actually fuse into these Metal Foes monsters. So Adamante has 2500 attack and defense, so it also works with Dragon's Mind. And that is the core idea of this deck, is we want to summon our Adamante and our XYZ Armor Torpedo and then set up a Dragon's Mind. This card also fits into Mill because it has a graveyard effect where you can simply pay 2500 life points to reset this card from your graveyard. So if we mill it, either through a Merly, a Havness, or even a Dice It, we can use its effect in the graveyard to set itself, and then we basically have a OMNI negate on the field, and we just need to get the 2500 body to enable it. So that is the core concept of it. We'll go through the card by card. So we're playing 2 Silvered, 1 Deep Sea Sentry, triple Merly, 2 Magicaloidal Soul, triple Havness, triple Exaraptor, triple Zepwing, 2 Dragon, 1 Hollow, triple Dinomicious, triple Morella, triple Succession, triple Dice It, 1 backup team, triple Howl, triple Dragon's Mind, and 1 Sulliek. For the extra deck, we have the 1 Adamante, 2 Crimsonite, Merry Mouthpiece, just the 1 copy, 1 Herald of Pure Light, 1 Cat Shark, 1 Curse Javelin, 2 Mannequin Cat, 1 Brass Djinn, 1 Fortune Tune, 1 Armor Torpedo, 1 Lizardos, 1 Triple Burst, and 1 Power Code Talker. So that's it for the deck profile. We're now going to jump into the replays and see how the deck performs. Alright, so this first match, we're against like a rank 4 combo pile. So they're going to normal summon the Queen's Knight, summon the Matmag Addiction, go for the Code Igniter, and this is the main Code Igniter combo. This is also a new card released in the same pack as Dragon's Mind. They're going to add the Paladin of Storm Dragon, special summon it, use its effect, special summon the Code Exporter, go for the Code Talker, Igniter activates, Exporter activates, resummons the Paladin for next turn, go for the Encode Talker, set the Sidekick, which is a negate. They also find a DD post, they're going to set that as well. We draw a Havness for turn, we're going to activate the Exaraptor, discarding the silver, add another silver, special summon itself, go for the Zepwing. The Zepwing's effect got negated. It was basically going to revive back the Silvered and also add another Exaraptor. So they just had to negate that, one of the best normal summons. Now we go for the Armor Torpedo, go to battle first. So they forgot to flip up the DD post in the main phase. This is the main phase only. So they couldn't protect their Encode Talker. We just ran over it with the Armor Torpedo. Now main phase 2, we use its effect to draw a card. We didn't use the effect main phase 1 because this card cannot attack unless it has materials. So we just set our Dragon's Mind negate and the Substitute Succession. They're gonna go battle phase though. Beat over the Armor Torpedo, so now our negate is no longer online, but they don't have any more gas. We just use the Succession now, get a Shadow Dragon. We also get to trigger our Havness to Synchro for an Adamante, so now our Dragon's Mind is online again. We go for the Succession again. They try to negate the Succession with the Sidekick, but we do have the negate of Dragon's Mind. So we resolve Succession, we dump the Dragon, use Dragon to hit the set card. It is another copy of DD Post. Now we normal summon the Merly. We reuse the graveyard effect of the Dragon's Mind to reset itself. They're gonna use the DD Post just to recur their copy of Sidekick. They also use the Sidekick's effect to get the Paladin of Storm Dragon back on the field. Draw phase, we once again use the Succession, grab a Hollow. We also use it to chain trigger our Paleo, which lets us summon the Magical Soul. Now they're gonna go for DD Post once again. They use it to banish. They use DD Post to banish the DD Post from the graveyard, which then triggers its effect to place itself face up on the field from the banished pile. So this card is pretty hard to get rid of. We're gonna negate the Paladin of Storm Dragon with the negate. They special summon their monster. We're gonna steal their Code Igniter so that they can't link summon with it and use it to search the Sidekick. And battle phase, we just go for a Cat Shark. The opponent chooses not to attack. They simply banish a card with the DD Post, and we pass over. So no interruptions by the opponent. We just have to deal with these big monsters. So we use Succession, dumping the Hollow. The Hollow now triggers to mill cards. We also trigger the Magical Soul to special summon itself. We trigger both of the Cheerleman names to fusion summon. So fusion for a Crimsonite, for 2 Crimsonites. Big 3k bodies. We XYZ summon for another Cat Shark. We go for the Zapwing. We also use its effect. Oh no, we don't have the Silvered in the graveyard. But we can still special summon it. Okay, go for the Armor Torpedo. Cat Shark doubles the attack of Armor Torpedo. Exadapter gives it even more attack. 6500. Sends the opponent's card to the graveyard. And then we direct attack for a game with the Crimsonite. Alright, this next game, we're playing against a Crystron rank 3 pile. So they are also playing the Regenesis stuff as well in addition to these cards. We open Succession, Dice It, and Dragon's Mind, so we didn't open great because Succession doesn't really have a dark monster, and Dragon Mind is not online at this point. So they normal summon the Scrap Recycler, dump the Kochobo, which basically special summons itself and makes itself a rank 3, a level 3. Now they go for a rank 3 for the Armor Torpedo. We're gonna immediately use it to draw a card. We activate the Dice It and hit a 5, but unfortunately we don't hit anything that triggers. Now we use the Succession. That does allow us to get a Paleo from the graveyard. We dump the Silver to add a Hollow. We now activate our Magical Soul. We also activate the Dragon's Mind that we milled to reset itself. So we have 2 negates on the field, but they're not online just yet. We also draw a 3rd copy of Dragon's Mind. They hit our soul with the Dinomicious, so we can't go for a rank 2. But we use the Succession to dump the Hollow to add the Zapwing. Zapwing adds the Exadapter. Now we go for the Armor Torpedo, and now we have both of our Omni Negates online, and we also have a 3rd one in the hand. But keep in mind, these Omni Negates are once per turn. Like, they're hard once per turn, so we can't use all of them or multiple of them in the same turn, but it's still nice to have just one Omni Negate per turn, right? Now we use its effect to draw. Just go end phase here. They're gonna activate the Regenesis Warrior to add itself. They also find a Regenesis Dragon. They use the Smyger to special summon the Quan. They also special summon the Kochobo. They also special summon the Regenesis Dragon. Dragon can basically tribute itself to banish any spell and trap card that the opponent controls. But we do have 3 negates though. Now we go for the Exoraptor. Add the Silver. Special summon. They're gonna try and hit our dragon with... Use the dragon to hit the Dragon's Mind, and what they're basically doing is trying to bait me into using the Dragon's Mind. Because they know it's a hard once per turn and they want to use their double hooking. I just let that go through. I don't fall for the bait. We special summon our level 3s. Go for the Brotherhood of the Fireface. Now, this wasn't in the deck profile, but I was running this at one point. I ended up cutting it, but you can still play it if you like. So we add back our Hollow. I realized that, if I wanted to add back cards, the Herald of the Pure Light just does the same thing, like as this guy. So we don't really need to play the Brotherhood of the Fireface. Now we add back the Zapwing, mill 3, hit a Hedgehog. So I was playing Hedgehog before. I realized just playing 2 Dragon is enough. Now we go for the Mannequin Cat, summon a Merly, hit a Havanus. Lets us fusion summon for a big Crimsonite. and just go to battle phase and clean up. They try to activate Quan to go for a Synchro Summon, a Synchro 5 most likely, which would have put all of our monsters to defense mode and we couldn't attack anymore because of the Synchro 5 Amatrix, I'm pretty sure, right? Yep, this one. If they Synchro Summon this, it could change all special summon monsters I control to defense position. So we had to negate that. Beat into the Smyger. Main phase 2, go for the Haggard Lizardos to draw a card. Draw into a Sulliek, so even more negation. They get to add back the Regenesis Dragon though. So this is the power of the Regenesis monsters. They keep recurring themselves. But then if you don't control a 2500 body, you can't be special summoned. However, they don't care about just you controlling a body. If the opponent controls a body, you can also special summon them. So you're gonna see the opponent is gonna drop them because I control the body. There's the Bulline. We trigger the Mannequin Cat, go for the Merly, fusion summon with the Havinous for a Crimsonite, just a big 3k defender. They go for the Haggard Lizardos, reduce the attack. We go for the Sulliek to use the Sulliek to negate the Bulline and send our Fire Fist so that the Haggard Lizardos cannot draw a card. They drop both Regenesis monsters, we just steal one of them, and they immediately chain both of them. So they banish a back row and they targeted a Dinomicious, which doesn't make sense. They should have targeted like a Mannequin Cat or the Armor Torpedo, to turn off my negates, but I guess they made a misplay. Now they'll use the double hooking, but we do have the negate. That's pretty much it for this game. So we're gonna use the Succession to dump the Dragon. Dragon's gonna destroy the cluster. Alright, so this is round 1 of the daily tournament. We're playing against Mr. Monochromatic, who's playing Hydrolander Mill with the insect and the plant cards as well. So gonna go for the Bibelist, search Saraceni and set 2 and pass. Pretty standard opening. Our opening hand is not bad at all. We opened the Materiactor engine and the Succession plus the 2 Paleos. So we special summon the Exoraptor, and then we get to special summon the Zapwing, and then we can search for another Exoraptor for next turn. So still haven't used our normal summon. Just gonna go for the Armor Torpedo, draw a card. Still don't find a normal summon, unfortunately, so we just have to pass on the back row. They are gonna go for the backup team. Normal summon the Merly, Mill 3. So right here, I figured out that they're playing Hydrolander because I saw it here. So now I decide that, okay, I need to be careful about exactly how much disruption I throw against their cards. So they also hit a Goki Pole, which takes care of the Armor Torpedo. We dump the Morella for a Sulliek. We also dump a Howl. Sulliek adds a Havinous. They go for the Selene Snapper. I realized that this Succession is basically one of my win conditions and I don't want it to be destroyed. So I just get rid of the Selene Snapper and banish it, which does matter a lot. Like, that is gonna hurt the opponent. So we resummon the Dinomicious. They drop the Highlander to destroy a card on our field. They will finally destroy the Succession, unfortunately. We now use the Primite Howl to steal the Hydrolander. Unfortunately, we couldn't use the Hydrolander because we have like multiple Exoraptors in the graveyard. So that is unfortunate. We reset the Dragon's Mind. They will summon the Vestigia of Woe to go over the Paleo. End phase, they get to summon both of their. Reset their Vestigia of Woe. They get back the Orbital Hybrid Hydrolander, which is still live. They'll chain a Havinous to my Merly, and they hit a Merly. And they already have a Merly in the graveyard. So now their Hydrolander is offline, and this is basically my chance. So we've hit a Havinous, and which allows us to fuse into Adamante, which means that our Dragon's Mind is now online. So we have a negate. Use the Mannequin Cat, revive back the Haggard Lizardos, use it to summon the Deep Sea Sentry, and this is why the Deep Sea Sentry is in here. Not only does it mill 2 cards, but it adds back the Exoraptor, so it's pretty clutch. Link into the Haggard Lizardos, use its effect to reduce the attack of the Lizardos and draw a card. We beat over the Hydrolander, they use the Antline, and I know they're gonna attach a Goki Pole. which is pretty annoying because then they can just pop the Gokipo with the Antlion to destroy one of our cards. So I immediately get rid of the Antlion with the negate, beat over the Hydrolander, beat over the Lizardos, and now we're in a pretty good position. End phase, we also get back our backup team, get to trigger a Paleo off their Ragnarika. They will reset their own card. We also trigger the Magical Aerosoul. And I'm clocking that the opponent has like a bunch of level 4 bodies that they can go for a Wonky Quartet. So what I do here is I just chain to the Wonky Quartet to cover up all of my zones, which means the Wonky blows up instantly. I'm gonna trigger their Biblist. We trigger the Merly we summoned. Need to mill 3 cards. Okay, summon the Magical Aerosoul, go for the Herald of Pure Light. However, unfortunately, you can see this game state is pretty complicated, and we're playing on normal timer. So my opponent was running pretty low on time at this point. They add back the Hydrolander, but they still can't drop the Hydrolander because of the 2 Merleys in the graveyard. So what they had to do now was banish one of the Merleys with a Selene Snapper. Or even with the Lizardos. But as soon as they went for the Lizardos, the timer ran out and I won due to time limit. So not just, you know, knowing how to play the deck, but you also have to keep track of the time as well. It's very difficult. Anyways, let's move on to the next replay. So this is the finals of the daily tournament. We lost the coin toss, or no, we won the coin toss and we chose to go first. So we start with the Zeppling. Opening hand is pretty insane. We once again open the Succession. They immediately hit the Heartbeat on the dice hit, fortunately, so we can just use it. We mill 4. Don't really hit anything significant. They are gonna go for the Exodaptor, and their deck is basically a Crystron Materiactor deck where they're also using the Regenesis cards as well, so pretty much the same deck that we saw earlier. They're gonna go for the Armor Torpedo, draw 1, set 3 disruptions, so Torrential, Dinomicious, and Cluster, which this combination of trap cards would be pretty much game against most decks, but this deck is just too resilient against a back row. So we add the Dragon with the Succession. Now we normal summon the Merly, mill 3 card, use the Succession to dump the Dragon. Also trigger the Morella to summon itself back to the field. We dump the Dragon, hit the Torrential Tribute. They'll use the Dinomicious to banish our Merly, so we can't go for a rank 2 play, but we have the Sulliek, and we can use it to dodge the Dinomicious. So we send the Merly now triggers to Fusion Summon, and we Fusion Summon into a Crimsonite, big body on the field. We now go for the Exodaptor. Don't special it, we just want to use it, thin out the deck a bit, get these normal monsters out of the deck so we don't draw them. Get in for some damage, and now the opponent is on low life point, low resources. The normal summon, they activate the Kochobo, go for the Armor Torpedo, draw a card, we chain Havness. They find the Dinomicious off the top. So here's what they do, right? We wanted to trigger the Havness, essentially. I wanted to trigger the Havness to shuffle back the Armor Torpedo by summoning Crimsonite. Because I was thinking the set card might be a Dragon's Mind. And they saw that and they immediately scooped. Alright, so this last game is against Skybro, who's known for playing a lot of, let's say, unorthodox decks. And this particular deck they're playing is basically called Bride Doll Turbo or Wife Turbo. So you're gonna see why it's called that in a second. Anyways, we went first. Opening hand was not bad. Use a Sulliek to search for a Merly. Hit a 4 on the dice hit. Search with the Hedgehog for a Dragon. Normal summon the Merly, mill 3 cards, mill a Dragon's Mind, go for the Adamante. Now we already have a Dragon's Mind in the graveyard. They're gonna hit our Herald with the Raigeki Break. We set a card, at the end phase we reset the Dragon's Mind, so now we have a negate online. They don't find anything, so they just pass. We draw a Merly off the top, normal summon the Merly, mill 3 cards. Go for battle phase. The Book of Moon, the Adamante. Activate the Dust Knight. So with the Dust Knight, they sent a Cursed Bright Doll to the graveyard, and they also had a Cursed Bright Doll in hand as well. So they normal summoned it, and the effect of this card is during the battle phase, you can gain attack equal to the difference between your deck and the opponent's deck. So Skybro is playing like a really fat 60 card deck times 300. So this Bright Doll becomes really big, and against Mill specifically, like this difference is gonna keep getting bigger. So we can steal the Bright Doll with the Primite Howl though. So we're good for now. We also hit the Sunlit Sentinel with the Dragon, so not good for us. End phase, the Bright Doll goes back to the opponent. The Sentinel now summons itself, gets rid of the Dragon's Mind, so no more negation for us. Normal summon the Zeppwing, add the Exit after, special summon the Silver to go for the Bastion. Now activate Howl to trigger our Paleo. Go for the Cursed Javelin, which allows us to negate the Cursed Bright Doll. Go for the Bastion. Use the Exit after, boost the Bastion so we can attack over both monsters. And they had the Crusted Calcifida in hand, so this is like another way they can send the Bright Doll to the graveyard, but they already had one, so they just send the Leaf Place twice, which is insane. Okay. Go for a Haggard Lizardos, draw a card. I sacked the whole board for a Triple Burst Dragon because I don't want to die to a big attack. They draw the Cursed Bright Doll, activate the Leaf Blaze, normal summon the Bright Doll, battle phase gains a bunch of attack, we trigger the Havness, mill 3 cards. Now we use Howl to steal both of the bigger monsters. They'll attack over the Havness. And I was in a bit of trouble here, but we top decked the Zeppwing, and this is all we needed to win the game. So now we go for the Exit after. We go for the Hump. So this is the one I was talking about. I don't play this anymore, but you can play this, and this says that whenever it's special summon, you can special summon any Djinn monster. So you can just summon the Brass Djinn. Now here, I got confused by how this card works. So I thought that you had to attach 2 materials to the monster that you summoned. But it says you can attach up to 2 cards, so I didn't have to attach both of these cards. So I choose not to attach here because I got confused. Instead, I just go for the Exit after to special summon itself. Link 3 for Power Code Talker, negate the Cursed Bright Doll, and just go for go for damage that way. Just 100 damage over. And yeah, that's it. So that's it for the replays. We're now gonna go towards the closing thoughts. Alright, so we're back with the closing thoughts. And I want to say, this seems like it is the most powerful version of Mill right now. It's just a really solid deck. We also get to play the Materiactor engine, which just by itself is an insane engine. It's really powerful. You hardly get any kind of like unplayable hands that don't do anything. That only happens if you draw like a bunch of, like, let's say you draw Soul, Dragon, Merly, and like Hollow. Like you draw a bunch of these one-offs. But otherwise, the deck pretty much is playable with almost every kind of hand. And the win condition is really strong. Like the rank 3 monsters add a lot to the deck. And then the Dragon's Mind counter trap is just insane. Like it's so powerful, especially against most decks. They usually have 1 or 2 plays that if we can stop them, then that basically stops their whole engine. And so that is why it's really powerful. And my win rate with the deck, I think I've lost only a couple games so far testing with this deck. And I've won like 10 games or so. So this deck is really strong. Like it only loses either through your opponent just outing your board, like turn 2 just killing you through your board, because the turn 1 boards aren't that strong. However, and the other way that you lose is if you just pay your life points down and you play against like a burn deck. So yeah, this deck automatically loses to any kind of burn deck. But other than those 2 scenarios, this deck generally does well against most decks. I would place it close to like the top of tier 2 right now, is if I had to give it a tier rating. Anyways, yeah, Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want more NR content in the future, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Anyways, that's it for today. Adios.